Go, guys. Yeah, this hose has got some frost on it. Can't really see it that well out here, but it definitely frosted over last night. It's pretty cold. It's kind of hard to tell if there's any damages out here. Everything looks okay for now. Keeping my fingers crossed. Yep, they're here. Let's keep digging inside. Okay, those guys are moving pretty fast today. We were thinking that they were going to be 2 more days before we needed to move the horses, but we got to get the horses from the front pasture to the back pasture because they're ready to start working down there. There was a cluster of 3 trees right here. They only took one of them down. I'm sure at some point in the future they'll come back for these other 2, but they're not a priority at the moment. And there was another oak tree over here that had to come down. It was working its way out, so that one's gone too. The bottom of that cab's got to be 15, maybe 20 feet up in the air. Ooh.
Kind of figured he bit off more than he could chew on that one.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time I've had to repair that fence if I do. Wow, look at that.
Nice.
That is cool, man. So versatile with the movement on that thing. It's gonna be a big one.
7. Oh, look at this red. And that one.
All right, I gotta go inside. Oh, he's gonna push it over. Here it goes. Is he gonna drop it? I'm getting excited a little more. Here it goes. Here it goes. Whoa, could you feel that? Did you feel that? Okay, this one here is pretty close to the house. They cut it up pretty high. There's good reason for that. For one, we keep this line up there just in case we ever have to do something with the dog. We have that. But you don't want to cut in this because there's wire that's wrapped around this on the bottom from years gone by. We didn't do that, but you definitely don't want to be cutting through that. Down here in the front horse pasture, they took down some biggies. We got both those ones there, plus these ones here are still marked. That one's marked. And this guy right here is marked. Those other 2 over there, those ones are staying. But everything else is going here. This is really gonna open things up in the horse pasture for sure. So there were 3 trees here. They took down one of them. I guess those other 2 are gonna stay. I'm kind of getting lost in what's marked and what's not. I know there's something still back here that they're gonna come back and get. But a little bit, I thought it was kind of funny. At one point, this tree, we'll talk about this tree. So the tree by the power pole, it's kind of funny. The 2 guys that are out here working, by the way, those guys are doing an amazing job. But they were working in the front part of the property, and all of a sudden I see some guy in the back horse pasture, and I'm kind of wondering what's going on with that. So I went out there to talk to him, and come to find out, he is more or less auditing the work that they're doing, making sure that they're not missing anything, making sure that everything that was marked is getting taken care of, and if there's anything that was overlooked, that he's kind of just doing an overview, making sure everything is taken care of. After he's done, there's going to be a third party that comes back. So long story short, he's auditing the work that they're doing, and then another party's going to come and audit the work that he's doing. So we're auditing the auditors. So like I said, time and time again, there's so many guys that come out here. It just, you get lost in the mix of all this. With how many people are coming, the right hand just doesn't talk to the left hand. And I was talking to him about how trees were marked and then they weren't marked. And anyway, well, he asked me about this tree or that tree. And I was like, well, this one was marked at one point, the one by the power pole. And he's like, well, it looks like a good tree. And he didn't want to take it. But I put out there that it was a little frustrating that all this stuff is getting marked. And then you guys are like changing your mind. And it's like, this stuff is really expensive to have somebody else come out and do it. And if this tree does fall, it's gonna fall on that power pole. And you guys are like leaving that up to me to be my responsibility, when it's like, you're out here doing all this work. Why can't you just take this? It's gonna be a problem at some point in the future. So anyway, I was like, it's cool, whatever, dude. I'm not gonna complain. You do what you gotta do. At some point, you're probably gonna come back and take it. So whatever, it's fine. So I go inside, don't think about it. And then I realize I need to take him next door because Mimi and Poppy were gone. And when anybody calls and comes over here, I'm the contact person. So nobody's getting through either gate without getting in touch with me, because everybody's got my number. So I came back outside to tell him, hey, while you're here, let me take you next door, because otherwise you're not going to get over there. Nobody's there, and you're going to end up calling me anyway. So let me show you before you get too far into things, and then I can just leave you to your devices and do what you got to do. So I come back outside, and first thing out of his mouth is, yeah, by the way, we're going to take this tree. So I just told him, it's like, if you guys look at a tree, you guys think about it whatsoever. I'm ruthless at this point. If it's even a concern or a thought, just cut it down. So long story short, they were not going to cut that tree down, but after I talked to them, they decided they would cut it down. And then they went down to Mimi and Poppy's. Some trees were marked that had been unmarked, and he marked some more trees. So it's just so many people making so many decisions, and then taking those decisions away, and it gets confusing after a while. So at this point anymore, if it's even a concern or even thought about in any way, shape, or form, just get rid of it, cut it down. I'm completely ruthless about it. I like having trees, but I am so tired of like the headache of people coming out and cutting this and cutting that and not taking care of the full problem, and then it's just a continuation of a problem. I can't even tell you guys, I've had 15, 20 people out here in the last 2-3 months, and it just gets overwhelming. And I was like, case in point, when I was talking to that, it's like, this is why people in the area get so upset, because it's just like, there's no communication. You guys say you're gonna do something, then you don't do it, or you don't do something, and then you say it's just, let's make a decision and stick with it already. This tree's a problem. Are you gonna cut it? Great, I love that, thank you. So here's the progression of things for as best I can remember. I'm sure I'm missing a few things, but somebody comes out, they mark a bunch of trees. Then another guy comes out. He either ratifies or negates those trees that were marked. Then they have tree trimmers come out. Tree trimmers are doing their thing. Then somebody comes out, looks at what the tree trimmers are doing. Then another guy gonna come out and look at what the guy who was looking at what the tree trimmers were doing. This cycle just keeps going and going and going. And this is just one program. They have like 3 or 4 different programs. So this is all just one program that I'm talking about. These guys are just looking at stuff that's gonna possibly fall on the power lines. There's another one where they come out and they're just looking at the power poles themselves. And those guys are coming out and they're looking at like woodpeckers pecking at the power poles, the condition of the power poles, if the power pole needs to be replaced. So that's another program. And then there's another one where they come out and they're just looking at like brush and grass that are like within the surrounding areas at the bottom of the power pole. Then they also have guys that are coming out and they're just looking at like the transformers. It's like this stuff just doesn't stop. This is a long way from being done. So that's where we stand for now. Today's been a lot of administrative work for me. So I've been on the phone with the state and the county as far as my nursery license and getting into the fleet, into the farmer's market. So I really wasn't out catching much of this stuff. I was just pretty much doing a lot of secretarial administration stuff. So my day was pretty much spent on the phone, but we'll get into that another day when that stuff kind of comes to the forefront. But that's my day, guys. Thanks for joining me. See you soon. Later, YouTube.